Hi, this is Captain Carl again, coming to you again from liberal Taos, New Mexico. And I want to discuss with y'all today the Second Amendment to the Constitution and things that are directly affecting our Second Amendment to the Constitution being done by our government, our present administration, let's put it that way. And just so we'll all know exactly what the Second Amendment says verbatim, and that's a nice word for me to use, as it reads exactly as I'm getting ready to tell you, straight from this little copy of our Constitution and the amendments thereof. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Well, I think, folks, we all know that it's being infringed, and they keep working on it every year, and they keep getting answers from the court, but these anti-gun people just won't leave it alone. But Mitt Romney is firmly committed to the protection of our constitutional liberties. Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan have both pledged to uphold our values, our ideals, and our aspirations for a better America. They applauded the U.S. House of Representatives for their contempt citation against the U.S. Attorney General, Eric Holder, for his cover-up of the Operation Fast and Furious. That rogue operation led to the death and the tragic death of a U.S. Border Patrol agent and hundreds of Mexican citizens. When Barack Obama boasted in October of 2008, ascension to power was about fundamentally changing the United States of America, we had no clue as to what he meant by that. Now we do know what he means by that. That transformation, which includes every aspect of our private lives as citizens, is being moved forward every day with Obama's transformation of the executive branch from a constitutional branch that carries out the legislative directives of the Congress to a self-contained imperial power. Obama recently declared that he'll bypass Congress and the American people to achieve his political aims, announcing that if Congress refuses to act, I'll do everything within my power to do it without them. Now that's straight from Mr. Obama's mouth. And Obama is incapable of doing the job Americans expect of their president. But for his goals of a transformed America, he's been a complete success. A master usurper of power to be wielded against our freedoms in a second term and beyond. And what I mean by beyond is, in the next 4 years, there will be 3 vacancies on our Supreme Court, which would give him the power to select those 3 justices. And we certainly don't want that to happen. The election of Mitt Romney to a presidency and removal of Barack Obama is critical. Twice, the Second Amendment has been held to 1 vote in the Supreme Court. And what I mean by that is a 5-4 vote. So it's really close, and that's what I mean by and beyond in the next 40 years. Because if he selects 3 judges, what will happen is, as their term goes, it's a lifetime term. And we've got one that's getting ready to retire now. And these 5 years, so that is where beyond comes into this. In contrast, Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan have given their unqualified support for the Second Amendment. You and I are the key to victory that will save we the people from the Obama regime's systemic degradation of our freedom through Obama's pledge to fundamentally transform the United States of America. Gutting the right to keep and bear arms is a key part of Mr. Obama's transformation. This election will decide whether the core principles of the Constitution will continue to guide our country, and whether Americans like me and you will continue to have an ironclad right to keep and bear arms. With the election, your vote will be the last chance to stop Obama from changing America into a country we don't even recognize anymore. I've been in the last two videos that I did on the Constitution with an excerpt of Daniel Webster's, but I'd like to leave it with you this evening on one of Thomas Jefferson's. And it really holds true, because so many people sit and say nothing except in our living rooms. We say nothing to each other. We don't get out like the liberals do and jump up and down and scream. We just sit there and be silent. And this is what Thomas Jefferson has to say about being silent. We need to take this to heart. All tyranny to gain a foothold is for people of good conscience to remain silent. Stop and think about that. And I'll tell you what, if you stop and think about it, you will get out and vote, or we'll just keep eating at our constitutional rights. So this is Captain Carl again from liberal Taos, New Mexico. Samuya.